The early mornings are quite cold in Ladakh. Leaving the comfort of the bed to get ready for another day is not easy. Once the sun is out, we can assume that the prospects are good. And so is the breakfast in Mystic Meadows. Samchuk completes his daily ordeal of loading our luggages, and soon we are on our way. Today we have a long way to travel. First, we move in the northwest direction along the Nubra River towards the Siachen base camp of the Indian Army. Then we retrace our path to the Panamik Hot Spring, and afterwards we have to reach Hunder by circumventing the confluence of Nubra and Shiok, all of which sums up to about 215 kilometers. Historically known as the Yama Sangpo in Tibetan, the Nubra River originates from the Siachen Glacier and flows down to create a valley which stretches about 90 kilometers before it merges into the Shiok. This river valley, known as the Nubra Valley, is a popular destination for tourists visiting Ladakh. The river carries heavy sediments from the upstream owing to its glacial melts and deposits them in the lower elevations. The average elevation of the valley is about 13,000 feet. The area has an arid climate and lack of precipitation means that very little vegetation can be seen on this route. There are small villages at the foot of the ravines where poplar and willow trees grow. There is also the wild rose tree, seen to grow abundantly in the region, locally known as the Sia flower, from which the name Siachen is said to have been derived. The Siachen Glacier is located in the eastern Karakoram range of the Himalayas, just northeast of the point where the line of control between India and Pakistan ends in northeastern Kashmir. This 76-kilometer long glacier is the longest in Karakoram and second longest in the world's non-polar areas. It has a height of about 7,000 feet from head to terminus. The Siachen Glacier lies immediately south of the Great Drainage Divide that separates the Eurasian Plate from the Indian subcontinent in the extensively glaciated portion of the Karakoram, sometimes called the Third Pole. The glacier lies between the Saltoro Ridge immediately to the west and the main Karakoram Range to the east. Including all tributary glaciers, the Siachen glacial system covers around 700 square kilometers. The entire Siachen glacier, with all major passes, has been under the administration of India as part of the Union Territory of Ladakh since 1984. The average winter snowfall is more than 35 feet and temperatures can dip to minus 60 degrees Celsius. This much info is enough to make many of us feel dizzy. So let's take a break. The Nubra River was rafted by an Indo-German team in 1978 under the leadership of Colonel Narendra Kumar of the Indian Army. Certain features in the maps used by the Germans led to India's understanding of cartographic aggression by Pakistan, and a subsequent mountaineering reconnaissance expedition of the region was planned, which in turn led to Operation Meghdoot. In 1983, Indian intelligence had inputs which confirmed that Pakistan was planning to take control of undemarcated areas beyond the line of control in the Siachen glacier area. As these were key strategic vantage points overlooking the surrounding valleys on all sides from the Siachen top, the Indian Army could not have allowed such a move. So, in April 1984, the Indian Army launched a preemptive move to take control of the entire Siachen glacier area, including all of its high passes up to the Saltoro Ridge. And by the 13th of April, 300 Indian troops were posted on all the critical peaks and passes of the glacier. Let us hear more about it from the army personnel posted at the Siachen Indian Army base camp.
आगे देखा कि यहाँ पे पाकिस्तान ने अपने सेना द्वारा कब्जा करने की कोशिश की, तो उन्होंने एक टीम गठित किया और इस ग्लेशियर का मैपिंग किया और उसको आर्मी हेडक्वार्टर में भेजा। तुरंत इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने इस जगह को ऑक्यूपाई करने की कोशिश किया, लेकिन ऊपर जो माइनस 60 से 65 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड माइनस है, तो यहाँ पे नॉर्मल क्लोथिंग में ऑक्यूपाई करना आसान नहीं था। तो इंग्लैंड में एक टीम भेजा स्पेशल क्लोथिंग के लिए, तो वहाँ पे जाके पता चला कि वहाँ पे पहले से क्लोथिंग का डिमांड दे चुका है, तो 2 साल के अंदर हमको वो क्लोथिंग नहीं मिलेगा। तो पता चला कि ये डिमांड किसने दिया, तो बोला पाकिस्तान ने। तो तुरंत ही दूसरी कंपनी से सामान लेके स्पेशल क्लोथिंग लिया और सन 13 अप्रैल 1984 को मेघदूत लॉन्च कर दिया, ऑपरेशन मेघदूत, जिसमें 4 कुमाऊं रेजिमेंट और इसका लद्दाख के स्काउट ने यहाँ पे ऑक्यूपाई किया और पाकिस्तान को कुमार पोस्ट के मार भगाया। यहाँ पे 3 बड़े ग्लेशियर है, नॉर्दर्न ग्लेशियर, सेंट्रल ग्लेशियर और साउथ ग्लेशियर। नॉर्दर्न ग्लेशियर आपके पीछे जो आप दिख रहा है बर्फ गिरा हुआ है, यहाँ से तकरीबन 20 किलोमीटर चाइना बॉर्डर के साथ काराकोरम रेंज पर लगा हुआ है, जो कि अक्षय चीन के नाम से जाना जाता है। यहाँ से जवान 20 kg वजन के साथ पर्सनल पेपर लेकर पैदल मूव करते हैं, जिसकी हाइट तकरीबन 22,000 फीट है। ये तकरीबन 22 से 20 किलोमीटर फैला हुआ है। आपके सामने जो पहाड़ी दिख रहा है, इसके ऊपर ये है सेंट्रल ग्लेशियर। यहाँ पे पास बड़े कॉम्प्लेक्स है, दर्शक कमान इसका और उसका अलग अलग पोस्ट भी है। ये भी तकरीबन 50 से 52 किलोमीटर का एरिया फैला हुआ है, जो कि पीओके के सामने पीओके के साथ लगता है। में जो यूनिट अपना कार्यक्रम कर चुका है, उनका पूरा नाम इस बोर्ड पे लिखा हुआ है। सबसे पहले मैं गया था 4 कुमाऊं और लद्दाख के साथ गया था, तो 4 कुमाऊं रेजिमेंट। और फिलहाल आज के डेट में 2025 में 18 जैक राइफल इस पहाड़ी पे डिप्लॉय है, नॉर्दर्न ग्लेशियर में। इनसे शहीद कम हुए। यहाँ पे जो वेदर है, वेदर की वजह से शहीद ज़्यादा हुए। आप देख सकते हैं सीरियल नंबर 2 से लेकर 17 तक एम्बुलेंस में एक ही चाहिए जगह पोस्ट को बना के ले चला गया और शहीद हो गए। यहाँ पे 2 बीमारी सबसे ज़्यादा है, हैपो और हैपो। बैठकों में लंच में पानी भर जाता है, बैठकों में शरीर में रक्त जम जाना, इसकी वजह ज़्यादा बीमारी से शहीद हुए। ये 1197 जवानों का शहीद वीरों का नाम।
The Siachen base camp is at an altitude of 12,000 feet, whereas the highest army posts are at an altitude above 20,000 feet. There is no road and no terrestrial vehicle can go beyond a certain point. In the early days, supplies were often carried by civilian porters and army personnel on foot. This ordeal would take 6 to 7 days and was always a very risky affair. This we come to know from our driver friend Samchuk, who himself volunteered as a porter on some occasions. Returning back towards Sumur from the Siachen base camp, we come across one sulfur-rich geothermal spring in Panamik. The hot water has therapeutic qualities, and we are not surprised to see a group of locals enjoying an afternoon open-air sauna. In Ladakh, we have seen many high passes, but not one like this, quite impassable. Now we are going to cross the Shiok river and get on the southern side of the Nubra Valley, as we have to reach Hunder. There is a very strong breeze on this side of the valley, and we can smell something in the air. From the awe-inspiring heights of Siachen down in the valleys, it seems we are due for yet another appalling experience. The sand dunes of Hunder are under attack from a strong afternoon wind. As we get closer, the sandstone seems to be taking terrifying proportions, making visibility quite an issue. If Samchuk is concerned, he is not showing it. I ask, and he confirms with a poker face that to reach Hunder we have to make it through this mayhem. Ultimately, we get stuck because some unfortunate vehicle has had a breakdown in the sands ahead, and there is no way to pass. Samchuk the Braveheart is out there with a rescue mission, and we cannot decide whom we should be more worried about, him or ourselves. The sandstorms, when on the rampage for longer duration, have the uncanny habit of shifting the dunes. So it may not be surprising if our stationary vehicle finds itself half covered in the sand after some time. The shepherd assures everyone that everything would be fine. And our hero is back. The contest seems to have been successful. The battle, however, has Hunder bleeding badly. The camp where we were supposed to stay the night has been crippled by the storm. Now we are compelled to move to a safer stay in Diskit. Although there is still a strong wind howling around outside, inside we are reasonably warm and cozy in the hotel all time. And this much should be enough for a day full of unique experiences.